We're on air. السلام عليكم أهلي وإخوتي وأحبتي في الوطن العربي الكبير. أهلي وإخوتي من يفقه قولي ويفهم لغتي في العالم العربي الكبير. موعدنا اليوم مع المحامي الكبير المخضرم، صاحب أكبر قضية في تاريخ الهجرة الأمريكية 2021، قضية جود لك العام الفائت، وما زال صاحب أكبر قضية 2022 UAO versus بايدن. نرحب معكم بمحامينا الكبير المحامي Curtis Morrison. Welcome, sir. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I am doing well. It is a little warm, but I am surviving.
Well, it's 90 degrees here in Minnesota, just to let you know.
Okay. I'm in Barcelona, Spain right now.
Yep.
And I don't know how much the temperature is because everybody does Celsius. Let me see, 78 Fahrenheit.
78 Fahrenheit. That's good. That's.
I should not be complaining. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should. Anyway, so we will start. السيد موريسون بيقول لحضراتكم ان هو في اسبانيا ودرجه الحراره حوالي 24 او 25 درجه مئويه، وهو لا يشتكي. نرحب بحضراتكم وندخل في صلب الموضوع. سنتكلم اليوم عن كل قضايا 2020, 21, 22, and we will focus on 22 at the end. So اولا سنسال المحامي عن قضية 22 وما حدث في قضية 22، ثم نعرج على باقي القضايا وباقي التجديدات. So, sir, we are talking about 2022 for a start. We have a hearing yesterday, and people would like to know what's going on. Then we need a brief about all the 2021 lawsuit and your opinion about it.
Okay, so we're going to start with 2022. You tricked me.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Okay. So 2022, everybody probably knows we filed 3 lawsuits, group lawsuits for 2022. The first one, Hamad, has already been dismissed because we got them to change the reassignment policy for Afghans and Iraqis. You want to translate?
السيد كيرتس موريسون بيقول احنا في 2022 عملنا كذا قضية، منهم قضية حمد وهي كانت للعراقيين والأفغانيين، وبالفعل صححت الخارجية الأمريكية طريقة قبولهم ومقابلاتهم، ولذلك تم الرجوع عن القضية بعد استيعاب جميع الحالات. Yes, sir.
Right. And so the other 2 lawsuits are Tessafe, which was mostly, well, it was for Sudanese and Addis Ababa Ethiopians, and that case is still pending. We are still waiting for an outcome of that case. It's fully briefed, so we are waiting for the judge to issue an order.
والقضية الثانية هي قضية تسفي، وهي خاصة بالسودانيين والإثيوبيين. هذه القضية ما زالت محل المحكمة، لا زالت لدى المحكمة، وحتى الآن ننتظر قرار في هذه القضية. So what is the latest status for the plaintiffs, if possible?
For Tessafe?
For Tessafe, yes.
We are waiting on the judge. So a few interviews have been said in that case, but still, we are not going to dismiss that lawsuit until people are issued visas.
يقول المحامي كيرتس موريسون في قضية تسفي والسودانيين والإثيوبيين المثارة أمام القضاء في أمريكا، حتى الآن لم نصل إلى حكم بعد، وسنستمر في القضية. هناك بعض الحالات التي قابلت بالفعل، وبعض الحالات طبعا أنا أعرف أن بعض الحالات أخذت مواعيد ولسه ما قبلتش. What's after this phase? Next.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the big lawsuit, which is UAO versus Biden. filed in Chicago.
نتكلم عن قضية بايدن ضد الاتحاد الأفريقي. Yes, sir.
As you know, we had a hearing yesterday before Judge Chang, and we think it went very well.
بالامس كان لنا هيرنج امام القاضي، قضيه جلسه استماع امام القاضي تشان، وكانت الجلسه على ما يرام كما سمعتم.
His clerk entered a docket entry today that explained everything that happened at the hearing. It mostly reflected the same thing that I emailed plaintiffs about that said that happened. There was a few things I forgot about that were in the docket entry. I can go over that docket entry and share it on the screen if you want.
Yes, we will do that. Let me translate that to them first. يقول السيد كيرتس موريسون أن سكرتير الجلسة أو سكرتير القاضي وضع بالفعل كل ما حدث في الجلسة على محضر الجلسة، ويمكنه أن يريكم ذلك ويتكلم عنه، وأتت تماما كما ذكر لكم في الإيميل الذي وصل على إيميلكم بالأمس. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's see if I can do this smartly. Yeah. Okay. So this is the docket entry from the court in UAO versus Biden. And it talks about everything that happened at this hearing. And I kind of want to go over it so that everybody knows what's happening in this lawsuit, because we think this is the lawsuit where you may see as much change as possible in the DV 2022 space.
سيتكلم عن القضية ومستجدات القضية من خلال محضر الجلسة اللي قدام حضراتكم الصادر عن سكرتير المحكمة، وبذلك هيهتم أكتر بالقضية دي وشرحها أمامكم لأنها أكبر قضية 2022 موجودة على الساحة، فهيتكلم عنها باستفاضة. Yes, sir.
Okay, so the government has a brief due in response. Let me see here, on July 20th to oppose our motion for expedited discovery. Well, what they need to do is supplement their response because the judge had another question. He wants to know what kind of records there are. They're fighting us and saying they don't want to give us the evidence, and he wants to know more about the nature of the evidence. What he says is he wants to know this by specific categories, what kind of evidence there is. So he wants to know if it's emails or cables. He just wants to know the nature of the evidence that they don't want to turn over.
القاضي طلب منهم تبيين إبانة أو إيضاح له طبيعة البيانات التي لا يريد إيضاحها أمام القاضي، ومنحهم فرصة لذلك. هم في شق الاستعجال expedite، هم كان لهم رد وأرادوا أن يقسموا الرد لسبلمنت، لرد ورد فرعي، ولكن القاضي طلب منهم أن يعرف طبيعة المعلومات التي يخفونها. Yes, sir.
He also wants to know how long it's going to take them to compile the record if he orders them to do it.
هو القاضي طلب منهم انه يحددوا له كم من المدة ستستغرق لإنهاء المشكلة وإصدار جميع التأشيرات إذا طلب منهم ذلك. Yes, sir.
Okay, Raphael told the judge about how in a normal DV year, in August and September, they switched to scheduling and working on the next DV year. Okay.
وصف المحامي رافائيل يورينا للقاضي أنهم كل عام لهم وضعية خاصة في إصدار التأشيرات ثم الدخول في نشرات تخص الهجرة القادمة مثلا 2023. Yes, sir.
The government attorney did not know how to respond to that.
محامي الحكومة أخفق في الرد على طلب رافائيل يورينا.
So the government attorney is going to need to explain that also in their July 20th brief, which is in.
وسيضطر للرد على ذلك بعد العودة لمدعيه هو الخارجية الأمريكية في يوم July 20th، في يوم 20 فبراير. Yes, sir.
Right. So the government has a filing due tomorrow, and then we have one due responding that the next day.
ستدخل القضية بيانات من طرف المدعى عليه الخارجية غدا إن شاء الله 20، والردنا عليها سيكون يوم 21. Yes, sir.
Right. It says here that there's a hearing on July 25th, but there is not. That is just a date for him as a deadline to give us an answer. He is
وفي يوم 25 مكتوب انه في حدث سيحدث يوم 25. هو ليس حدث بالفعل ولكنه اخر يوم لاعطائنا رد. Yes, sir.
I need to clarify an answer on the motion for discovery, not on the motion for preliminary injunction. He is a
رد. عندنا طلبين primary injunction و discovery. هو رد على he's gonna just the discovery, right?
Right, discovery.
هيقوم بالرد على الاستكشاف وطلبنا لإيضاح بيانات تخفيها الحكومة. Yes, sir.
I cannot tell you how rare it is that a judge tells you when he's going to issue an order. Mostly they don't do that.
المحامي كيرتس موريسون بيقول لحضراتكم هو مش قادر يوصف لكم قد ايه من النادر ان يقول قاضي انه سياتي بقرار بحلول يوم كذا، وقد فعل ذلك القاضي تشان في قضيه UAO. Yes, sir.
What that tells us is our judge appreciates the expediency, how important time is.
وده بيعكس أن القاضي يعرف تماما قيمة الوقت في موضوعكم وموضوع الدعوة. Yes.
Okay. There was also something noted here that the court couldn't locate in the filings a copy of the Foreign Affairs Manual and directed the plaintiffs to identify the filing attachment. We emailed the courtroom deputy with the government copy to explain the updated version of the subsection was not on the docket, and counsel provided a link to it. So they have it now.
وصل لهم كل ما يريدونه من المحامي، والآن ننتظر الإيضاح للقاضي ونرد عليه يوم 21، ويخرج علينا القاضي يوم 25 بقرار في موضوع الديسكفري وإجبار الحكومة على إظهار بيانات معينة. Yes, sir.
I'm just going to summarize this. On August 2nd, the judge is making the government produce updated statistics to say, okay, how did things go for the first 10 months of the DV?
يوم 2 أغسطس سيكون بحكم القاضي هنا وبقرار القاضي يلزم الحكومة بإيضاح ماذا تم عمله في 10 شهور الماضية بحد أقصى يوم 2 أغسطس. Yes, sir.
And finally, he set a hearing for the motion for preliminary injunction, which is the important motion, for August 4th, 2022.
ووضع القاضي للطلب الرئيسي، لان احنا عندنا طلبين discovery و primary injunction، الاثنين واحد منهم هيتكلم فيه يوم 25، والطلب الثاني الرئيسي برفع الضرر سيكون في جلسة ان شاء الله تخصه يوم 4 أغسطس ان شاء الله. Yes, sir.
There is a slight chance that that will be rescheduled because the government attorney has a conflict for the time that the judge set.
ومحامية الحكومة عندها مشكلة في يوم 4، فهناك احتمال ولو بسيط بتغيير موعد الجلسة. Yes, sir.
We are hoping that she endeavors to that she is able to reschedule and still make the hearing.
نأمل في أن تتم القضية والجلسة في موعدها، وأن تتمكن محامية الحكومة من الوصول في الوقت المحدد. Yes, sir.
So that's where UAO stands. I'm really excited that a lot of UAO plaintiffs have already been scheduled for interview. Over 50 have been issued visas. 50 families have been issued visas. I'm excited about that.
المحامي مستمتع ومبسوط جدا بأن 50 من عائلات قضية 2022 الاتحاد الأفريقي ضد بايدن حصلوا على التأشيرات بالفعل. 50 عائلة، 50 مدعي بأهاليهم، بأزواجهم، بأبنائهم. So do we have any statistics to tell the people, like if we go on spreadsheet and get how many people we have, how many administrative process we have, this and that?
I don't know how to do a screen share on that.
Oh, you don't have to. That's you can tell us. You don't
Okay.
have to. Yeah, you can tell
Well, there's
us.
a lot of numbers here. So,
Okay. You can. You're the attorney.
well, no, that's okay. There's 926 people, 926 families have interviews that they're waiting on. That they're
900.
already received 2NLs, and so
900
that's
and what?
926.
926.
2NLs have not yet attended an interview.
926 وصلهم مواعيد بالفعل. I want to tell you that Mina Nakhla here, and he say thank you very much. He got his interview in Lagos, Nigeria, so
Great.
he's thanking you. So that let's add that later.
Okay.
How many people we have at MVC, sir?
Right. That's our focus. That's our focus shifts over time, okay? But our focus right now is getting those people out of KCC and assigned to embassies. And right now, there are still 1,391 families that are still at NVC. Now, they are all AV except for 4. What that means is the DS-260 has been processed for all of our plaintiffs. I don't know how that happened.
سارة يود أن يقولها المحامي أن 1391 من حضراتكم كمدعين موجودين في at MVC. البشرى السارة أن كل حضراتكم ما عدا 4، يعني 1388 من حضراتكم او 87 من حضراتكم AV، وده معناه انه تم دراسه الدي اس بتاعه كل المدعين عاده 4، منهم 1 ترك الدي اس بتاعه مفتوح وهيرجع يقفله تاني، اللي هو استاذ محمد طاهر. Yes, sir.
I just realized I may cause a panic by saying 4 of our plaintiffs have not been, DS-260 has not been processed. Let me tell you, if you are one of those 4, we have reached out to you. Saher reached out to 1, and Jovan reached out to the other 3. So don't email me and say, am I one of the 4? Because we reached out to you if you were one of the 4 that did not have a DS-260.
ولا تخافوا، ال4 تم الوصول ليهم بالفعل. أنا تواصلت لمحمد الطاهر ويوفن اتصل بها 3 الآخرين. ناخد من كده إن نادر جدا 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 إن يكون كل حالات القضية تم بحثها. معنى ان تم بحث كل حالات القضيه دونا عن باقي حالات الدي في 2022. اختصوا حضراتكم بانهاء معاملاتكم لدراسه كل حاله على حده، وده يعتبر شيء مميز جدا جدا جدا. Yes.
I'm going to say something that is going to surprise everyone. The government attorney here is not evil.
هو شايف ان محامية الحكومة ليست بشخصية شريرة كما كان في السابق. Yes.
There have been 4 or 5 situations now where there has been a problem with the DV, usually involving the embassy or even after the embassy, where I have been able to email her and she has been able to get with the State Department and they have fixed the problem. Now, this isn't a problem like, oh, I don't have my interview. It's a problem where there's a quirk and there's no other way to fix it.
هناك 4 أو 5 مواقف تدخلت فيهم محامية الحكومة وحلت المشكلة ما بين دفاعنا طلبات دفاعنا من الحكومة، وتوسطت المحامية وحلت المشكلة. فباقي المشاكل ليست مشاكل بسيطة، أما المشاكل البسيطة تم حلها من قبل المحامية. فالمحامي كورتس مورسون يرى أن المحامية هذه المرة ليست شخصية شريرة. Yes, sir.
What was good about the government's exhibit to their declaration that had that table is it let a few of our clients know about problems that they didn't know they had, that the government had them listed at the wrong embassy.
الجيد هذا العام أن عند اكتشاف 4 عندهم مشكلة نبهتنا محامية الحكومة، وهذا مؤشر جيد لم يحدث من قبل ومؤشر جيد لنا وفعل خير. Yes, sir.
We were able to straighten all those out.
ونحن سيطرنا على الموقف بالنسبة لل4. Yes.
The problem the government attorney helped me fix this morning, crazy. The State Department issued the visa, gave it to DHL. DHL wouldn't give it to the applicant because they said the embassy said not to. So I emailed the government attorney and said, why is that happening? And then DHL immediately, after weeks, DHL immediately emailed the client and said, oh, okay, you can have we just got your passport. When really we don't know which one of them was lying. Somebody was lying, but it got fixed because the government attorney fixed it. But the funny thing is the email that the government attorney said and the email that DHL said don't match up. One of them was messing up, right? But it got fixed. So sometimes it's easy to say government attorneys evil. They aren't. They can help us fix problems too. So I just wanted to get that out there.
حدث جنان يعني أحد المدعين دخل المقابلة وأخذ التأشيرة، وقبل أن يستلم جوازه من DHL أخبرته DHL بوجود الجواز، لكنهم لا يستطيعوا تسليم الجواز إلا بعد التصريح من السفارة. تواصل المحامي كورتس مورسون مع محامية الحكومة government attorney، وهي تواصلت فورا واتحلت المشكله. الجواب اللي جالنا بعد كده او الايميل اللي جالنا من DHL بيقول ان الجواز السفر موجود وتقدر تقدر تستلمه في اي وقت. كان الرد غريب، في واحد في النص فيهم بيكذب، لكن ما يهمنا ان محاميه الحكومه تدخلت لتسليم جواز السفر لصاحبه بالتأشيرة. مبروك عليه. So congratulations to the plaintiff.
Yeah. So I feel bad that the DV 2020 and 2021s are listening to all this. So can we skip to them and let me give an update on that?
So are we going to go back to 2020?
Later? We'll go back to, I was going to say,
the questions take us.
Exactly. Yeah. What Golden Edge just put there.
So let's go on now. سادتي الآن سنتكلم. المحامي كورتس مورسون بيقول هو مش عايز 2021 و2022 يكونوا موجودين لمدة طويلة علشان وقتهم، فالآن سنتطرق لموضوع 2020 و2021 ثم لنا عودة ل 22. Yes.
Okay. So basically, there's 2 things that are important that I need to talk about when it comes to DV 2020 and 2021. Something happens Friday. You know, it's been a long time since something's happened and we haven't given an update, and something does happen Friday.
شيء حدث يوم الجمعة الماضي. هناك وقت طويل مر دون أن يحدث أي شيء لنبلغ حضراتكم به، ولكن الآن عندنا حدث نقدر نتكلم عنه بخصوص 2020 و2021. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Judge Mehta in the Gomez lawsuit ordered the government to do a status report about their system changes, and that's due Friday.
القاضي أميت مهتا أمر الحكومة بإصدار تقرير يبين موقفها من تجديد الموقع بتاعهم اللي هو اتعمل عليه بايلوت السيستم كله. إن شاء الله أمرهم وهيكون في التقرير امام القاضي أميت مهتا يوم جولاي 22 ان شاء الله. Yes sir.
Right. He entered this in the case for DV 2020, but it affects DV 2021 the same because it's the same system changes. The system changes to be able to issue visas from prior years is the same system the same system changes to issue the visas for 2021.
صحيح أن القرار كان في قضية جوميز أو أن الأمر كان يخص قضية جوميز 2020 ولكنه طالما سنة مضت فهو يخدم كل السنين الماضية 2020 و2021 فالقرار هنا يعم على السيستم بالنسبة ل 2020 ونفس السيستم يخدم 2021. Yes sir.
Right. So that's good. We'll hear what's happening, right? The second thing is an update for the appeal. We always knew that the appeal would be heard in September, right?
Yep. نحن نعرف أن الأبيل والطعن سيتكلمون عنه في أول جلسة ستكون يوم 16 سبتمبر. Yes sir.
Right. So it is going to be heard in the September term, and it's 16. September the 16th at 9:30 a.m. That's DC time.
وستكون يوم 16 سبتمبر الساعة 9:30 صباحا بتوقيت واشنطن العاصمة. Yes sir.
The argument panel, that's the 3 judges that will hear the appeal, are going to be announced 30 days prior, so about the middle of August.
في نص شهر أغسطس سيكون الثلاث قضاة اللي هينظر أمامهم سيتم تسميتهم في نصف أغسطس لأن يجب تسميتهم 30 يوم قبل الجلسة. Yes.
I cannot stress enough who the panel is extremely important.
لازم هو مش قادر يعني يوضح لحضراتكم قد ايه مهم جدا شخصية الثلاث قضاة مهمة جدا ان احنا نعرفها ومهم جدا نعرف مين في المحكمة. قضاة كتير هيتخصص 3 على الله يكون 3 كويسين يعني. Yes sir.
That being said, once we know who those 3 judges are, you will not get me to say a bad thing about any of those judges. So don't ask me, hey, is that a bad judge? Because I will never say those 3 judges are going to be the best, most wonderful people.
طبعا ال3 قضاة لما يتحددوا أي سؤال هنسأل عنه عن ال3 قضاة هنقول دول أحسن 3 أشخاص في العالم لأن القانون يمنعنا إن احنا نقول أي شيء غير كده. فلما يتحدد ده 3 قضاة محدش يروح يسأله القضاة دول كويسين ولا وحشين. Yes sir.
Right. Okay,
so we need to talk about something really important. Okay. Many people that talking about lawsuits and was the lawsuit effective in 2020? Can we? I'm sorry, I know it's not what you thought going to happen, but can we tell brief people how did lawsuits in general, all lawsuits affected 2020? And then let's tell them how it affected 2021.
Well, I don't think so because it's like a history lesson.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go over it briefly. 2020 and 2021 were both different from each other, and they're different from 2022 also.
2020 و2021 كانتا سنتين. انا بقول له هنا الناس عايزه تعرف قد ايه القضايا خدمت اللوتري والتاشيرات فقال لي احنا كاننا بندرس درس تاريخ فاحنا هنقول بسرعه 2020 و 2021 كانوا غير بعضهم وهم كمان غير 2022. Yes sir.
So yeah, I can give a little overview. So in 2020 Judge Mehta certified a class, so there was a class action, and he said that reserved visas would be issued once we won summary judgment.
في 2020 القاضي أمر حضراتكم طبعا عارفين انه امر فتح السفارات واعطاء كذا وكذا لكنه اقر 9095 تاشيره زي ما حضراتكم عارفين وقال هناخد ال 9095 تاشيره اللي هو المحامي قاله كيرتس موريسون هناخد 9095 لما يتم اقرار السمري جادجمنت primary injunction.
Right. So we won summary judgment. We won that lawsuit. Okay.
ونحن كسبنا هذه الجلسة والقضية. Yes, sir.
It's funny. Sometimes people email me and say, "Can you dismiss me from the lawsuit?" And I'm like, "No, we already won. You can't get dismissed from a lawsuit it's over. We won." Now, the government did appeal the decision.
المضحك أن بعض الناس بعد انتهاء القضية بمكسبها بيقول له تقدر تسحب اسمي من القضية، فبيقول له طبعا ما أقدرش لأن القضية انتهت بالمكسب. أما الطعن فإجراء آخر. الحكومة طعنت على حكم القاضي. Yes, sir.
Right. So that's why we are waiting for September so that we can beat that appeal.
الناس ننتظر حتى شهر سبتمبر حتى نواجه هذا القرار ونكسبه إن شاء الله. 2021.
Okay, 2021.
People want to know some numbers about good luck.
Right. 2021, there's only two groups that matter now, okay? Either you were a good luck plaintiff or you were assigned to an embassy that you can benefit from the Ray order.
لو هناك حزبين سيكسبا من وضع 2021 إذا كنت مدعي في قضية جود لك أو إذا كنت موجود في سفارة تدعمها قضية راي.
Right. So I'm talking to good luck plaintiffs now, or good luck plaintiffs.
We have 1,400 families.
11,000. I get numbers messed up all the time, but I know I have 11,000 good luck families because I think I talk to all of them every week. It feels like it. So
1,400 got their visas.
14. That doesn't sound right to me. I think it's 3,000. No, it was 1,400 families. 3,000 visas. You're right. Okay. Yeah.
المحامي بيقول لحضراتكم في قضية جود لك هو اتلخبط في الأرقام لكنه حافظ إنهم 11,000 أسرة ب 11,000 مدعي. قلت له حوالي 1,400 أخذوا التأشيرات. صحح لي وقال لي 1,400 أسرة، حوالي 3,000 تأشيرة خرجت من جود لك من أصل 24,000 خرج 3,000 بالفعل، من أصل 11,000 مدعي خرج 1,400 بالفعل خرجوا كاسبين ووصلوا للولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. Yes, sir.
So instead of talking about the past, I'd like to talk about the future for the good luck plaintiffs that are not in the U.S. that did not get their visa, because that's our focus.
المحامي يفضل الكلام عن المستقبل وليس عن الماضي، فالماضي كلنا نعرفه. يفضل الاهتمام أكثر بمدعي جود لك الموجودين حاليا خارج الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية لأنهم محل شغله الشاغل. Yes, sir.
So unlike DV 2020 plaintiffs, good luck plaintiffs have two steps. We have to beat the appeal and we still need to win summary judgment.
في قضية جود لك فهي غير قضية جوميز 2020 وقضية والقضايا الأخرى. قضية جود لك لسه محل المداولة، فإحنا محتاجين الأول نكسب الأبيل يوم 16 سبتمبر، بعدين نرجع تاني للمحكمة أمام القاضي أميت مهتا اللي إحنا إن شاء الله نتعشم الفوز على يده. Yes, sir.
That's not true with Ray or Go.
ده ليس الموقف مع راي أو قضية جو.
We just have to beat the appeal for Ray and Go.
أما في راي وجو هما بس إحنا قدامنا الأبيل الطعن فقط.
No. And disclosure, Go is not our lawsuit. It's just a lawsuit that is consolidated with ours. And so
إحنا بنتكلم عن جو لأنها بس منضمة على قضيتنا. Now, to let the people know, because I see it on the text and everything, we ask the judge to raise the number for like
yes.
Yeah.
So there's 6,914 visas reserved for good luck and 966 reserved for Ray. For good luck, we have asked the judge to raise that number to closer to 10,000.
في قضية جود لك هناك أمر من القاضي حتى الآن بحجز 6,000 914 تأشيرة، وفي قضية راي رقم 9966 تأشيرة. طلبنا من القاضي في شهر ديسمبر زيادة عدد قضية Good Luck إلى نحو 10,000. Yes, sir.
Okay. You want to jump into, do you have any questions? And then if so, we can jump into see if anybody else has questions. Looks like they do.
Well, my questions are all about Good Luck and if it benefit and how it benefit. Do you think the lawsuits at all made it easier for diversity visa? Those even who are not plaintiffs, in my opinion, those who are not plaintiffs in any of the lawsuits got a benefit from the lawsuits one way or the other. In both the years, of course, in 2021, the embassy still closed until March or so, and in 2020 it was completely closed until the judge order at the end of August, and it opened at September 4th. So what we'd like to emphasize this to people who still asking, because people in 2022 hear always people telling them lawsuits didn't add anything to anyone and things like that. So we like to talk to 2022 and tell them a little bit of the history of how did that affected the visas in 2021 and 2020, so they know how it goes and how it is so far.
In my view, if there weren't lawsuits, they would not have even done the DV-21 or the 2022 program. They wouldn't have done them.
في رأي المحامي كيرتس موريسون، وأنا بسأله عايزين نوضح ل 2022 قد إيه القضايا فادت 2020 و2021، حتى اللي مش مشتركين في القضايا قد إيه انتفعوا. يعني في 2020 الناس انتفعت وهم أصلا كلاس أكشن، وفي 2021 الناس انتفعت إزاي؟ فالمحامي كيرتس موريسون قال في رأيه الشخصي 2020 و 2021 و 2022 انتفعوا، بل انه في رايه بدون القضايا ما كان تاشيرات في 2021 ولا 2022 حتى الان. Yes, sir. So you go to
Also, I want to make sure that everybody understands this isn't because of COVID. This is because of a policy decision at the highest level. If the president himself, probably, but at least the Secretary of State has decided the diversity visa program is not that important. Maybe he hates minorities. I don't know what his problem is, but that is what is behind the curtain here. Okay, you've got an administration that does not like the diversity visa program, and they are being forced to implement it.
السيد كيرتس موريسون بيقول لحضراتكم أن هذا لم يكن بفعل الكوفيد، ولم يكن بفعل مرض أو وباء ظهر فجأة، ولكن كان بفعل تعمد الحكومة. لا يعرف لماذا. يمكن الحكومة كانت تكره الأقليات. الحكومة ممثلة في رئيس الدولة و في الخارجية، بالذات في خارجيته، أن لا يقيموا للهجرة العشوائية وزنا، أو تم معاداة الهجرة العشوائية بدءا من 2020 وابتدوا في معاداة حضراتكم، بل انهم حاولوا يمنعوكم من الدخول، بل منعوكم من اصدار التأشيرات، بل اكثر من ذلك حتى لما اخذتوا التأشيرات حاولوا يستمروا في منعكم من الدخول بتمديد البروكلاميشن. Yes, sir.
So I could talk to you, being you could talk all day, but I really want to get to some of the questions because I'm afraid that we're going to miss what they want to know if it's just me and you.
Yeah, so let's say Lena.
Oh, I'll say in English, and you can do Arabic. Hi, guys. How are you? I want to ask you, please, about DV-22 winners, Algeria. We need to schedule more interviews for Algeria. And a question for Lawyer Morrison. Can you open another case to DV-2022 winners, please? I'll let you go. Translate.
الأخت لينا من الجزائر بتطلب من المحامي هل هناك قضية أخرى سيتم رفعها ل 2022 وهل يمكن زيادة تأشيرات الجزائر الإجابة للمحامي موريسون. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm looking. I was actually surprised how many Algier has scheduled, because they've issued, looks like 1,400 visas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that actually surprised me. I didn't expect to see that. Our job is to use the law and the courts to try to compel the State Department to act.
مهمتنا هي استخدام المحكمة والقانون لدفع الحكومة لتنفيذ القانون واستخراج عدد التأشيرات بالكامل.
In that way, we get indirect results. We get the outcome we are looking indirectly.
وبهذه الطريقة بصفة غير مباشرة نصل لكل ما يرضينا. Yes, sir.
The reason I say that is this question is asking sort of for direct results. How do you get interviews in Algiers? Well, I cannot sue the embassy in Algeria for lawsuits against embassies have a low rate of success, because you're challenging a decision that is made by people that are in a foreign country that are kind of out on their own. Okay. Lawsuits that have success are challenging policies that are made in Kentucky or DC.
بناخد أو نتحصل على النتائج بطريقة غير مباشرة، ولكن ثبت عمليا بأن القضايا ضد السفارات لا تربح كثيرا، أو في الغالب لا تربح. لذلك نتوجه بمعظم المقاضاة ضد الرأس أو ضد وزارة الخارجية الأمريكية نفسها لنحصل على ما يأتينا. السفارات abroad هم موجودين في الخارج وبتبقى قراراتهم في الغالب من نفسهم، فلا يمكن دفع سفارة بعينها لفعل شيء. Yes, sir.
In other words, no judge is going to order an embassy to issue more visas.
وليس هناك قاضي سيخرج أمر لسفارة بعينها، بل الأوامر تصدر للإدارة وهي الخارجية. Yes, sir.
But what a judge may do is a judge may order the State Department to adjudicate the visa applications for all the plaintiffs. As judge,
يمكن للقاضي دفع الحكومة وأمرها لإخراج العدد الكامل للكل. Yes, sir.
Judge Chin did that in our case in 2020 in California. He ordered the government to adjudicate all.
القاضي تشين أمر بذلك سنة 2020، وبذلك كنا رابحنا القضية في 2020. Yes, sir.
How effective that is when a judge does that is really cool. If you look at statistics for a couple months right before they closed Moscow embassy, the number of immigrant visas issued in the visa statistics was the number of our plaintiffs who were issued visas in Moscow. The last immigrant visas in Moscow were issued to our plaintiffs as a result of the Young Order. It's like the one person stuck in the building had to issue visas for our plaintiffs.
And I will add one to that. المحامي يقول كيف حدث ذلك، كيف يؤثر ذلك. في 2020 في قضية يونغ كان آخر وكل معاملات سفارة موسكو وآخر تأشيرات خرجت في سفارة موسكو كانت لمدعي قضية يونغ. And let me add that, and I'm a witness of that myself. Young Egyptian, one Jordan, I think, and one from Egypt. He's my friend, and his family. They call me to thank me and thank you, and that's for Young, and the others for Fang Zhong, and they're my friends, and they're here. They're my neighbors now, and them are the only, and I repeat, them are the only people in Cairo, Egypt, from Fang Gong and from Young, are the only people in Egypt had their visas in September. And I repeat, they're the only ones, are the plaintiffs or lawsuits. أضيفوا على ما قاله المحامي كيرتس موريسون هناك واحد أو اثنين أعرفهم تماما مصريين في قضية يونغ، وعائلة ثلاث عائلات في قضية فانجونغ موجودين في أمريكا، أصدقائي شخصيين، هم الوحيدين من استفادوا من قضية فانجونغ ويونغ واستفادوا من القضايا، وهم التأشيرات الوحيدة صدرت كايرو في سبتمبر 2020. Yes, sir.
Okay, I feel like we're getting distracted. Second question here. Can you open another case for DV 2022 winners, please? We have not decided if we want to open a case for DV 2022 winners, another group lawsuit for DV 2022 winners. Translate that.
نحن لم نتوصل لقرار حتى الآن بشأن إقامة دعوة أخرى ل 2022.
At this point, if we did do another group lawsuit for DV 2022 selectees, it would not be after getting the visas issued before the end of September. That is no longer reasonable for a group lawsuit filed in August. That's not reasonable.
I didn't get this. Would you explain that, please?
If we did another group lawsuit, the focus would be on reserving the visas for issuance, reserving the unused visas for issuance after September 30th, like the Kennedy case.
Gotcha. هناك خلط بسيط، فيجب للإيضاح هنا. سنوضح موضوع آخر. إذا قمنا كفريق كيرتس موريسون وفي موريسون يورينا لا فيرم، هيكون موجود لو قرروا انه يفتحوا قضيه جديده ل 2022 سيكون التركيز في هذه القضيه الجديده على حجز تأشيرات خارج السنة المالية إذا تبقى تأشيرات. أقول ثاني، حجز لو في قضية جديدة ل 2022 ستكون محاولة لحجز تأشيرات خارج الفيسكال يير، لأنه ليس من العقل طلب غير ذلك. فاللي عايز يخش قضية يبقى عارف إنها لو في قضية ل 2022 غير القضية الموجودة حاليا فستكون لحجز تأشيرات خارج السنة المالية إذا لم إذا تبقى تأشيرات نحجزها للمدعين إن شاء الله. That's just like Kennedy.
Almost like Kennedy.
Almost like
and
Kennedy.
I'm glad we're talking about Kennedy because for those wondering, why don't we just file another lawsuit like that? I'm conflicted because if you talk to any of the Kennedy plaintiffs, they will tell you that the time that they've spent since 2020 in purgatory, what's the better word? Indecision, uncertainty, has caused them a lot of anxiety. It's caused depression. And sometimes I wonder if it would have been better if they just like moved on instead of waiting for this outcome. I feel really bad about the how their lives are on hold. There's a lot of DV 2020 selectees who do not know if they want to switch jobs, buy a house, have children, get married, buy a car. They're stuck on hold. Their lives are on hold because they're waiting for reserved visas to be issued. Cool. So having a visa reserved for issuance after the end of the fiscal year is better than nothing, but it also comes at a high cost in that we don't know how long it will take for them to be issued after the fiscal year. I'll let you do that and then I'll have more.
Yeah. وبذلك يكون فتحنا موضوع كندي. فحجز لما بتكون داخل قضية فقط بغرض حجز تأشيرات خارج السنة المالية، هذا يذكرنا بقضية كندي التي هو يشعر بحزن لوضع السادة الأعضاء والمدعين في قضية كندي، لأن بعضهم يعني يتمنى أن لم يكن شغل نفسه، أن يكون التفت لحياته. بعضهم عايز يشتري سيارة، عايز يشتري بيت، عايز يتزوج، عايز يزوج أولاده وهكذا. فهو بيحاسس بيهم وحاسس بمأساتهم، فليس من السهل أن توضع في هذا المكان وهو يفهم ذلك تماما. Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you for saying all that. I forgot what else I was going to say. So basically, we haven't made the decision.
New thing. She opened about a new lawsuit,
right.
And we talked about Kennedy.
Right. So we haven't made the decision yet. If we do, it's just for reserving visas for. Oh, I know what I was going to say. The reason that visas that are reserved are not issued quickly is because we no longer have a hook before the court that we say, oh, there's a deadline, September 30th. Well, if the judge throws that deadline out, there's no longer a deadline. And when you don't have a deadline, things can go on, like we're seeing with the Gomez and Goodluck briefing and appeal.
المشكلة كلها التي لا يلتفت إليها البعض أن بعد حجز تأشيرات خارج السنة المالية لا يكون هناك نهاية طرفية أو نهاية عليا للسنة المالية وما يسمى بالديدلاين في 30 سبتمبر. فبيكون خلاص تم حجز تأشيرات برقم معين فيمتد القضاء بقى والحبال تطول في هذا. ودي هي من ضمن الضرائب اللي انت بتدفعها انك يتحجز لك تأشيرات خارج السنة المالية. Yes, sir.
I used StreamYard incorrectly, by the way. I typed a comment in answer to a question, and it answered for every single account that's logged on, like everybody answered that question. Yeah. I apologize. But Congress is not going to get involved. I'm the one that said that, not all the people that it said that.
Okay, so that takes us to something that all the plaintiffs in 2021, and good luck, let's put that here, the spotlight on them. They're asking always, okay, if the Congress come up with this, that solution for all of us. What is the lawyer opinion about that? Our lawyer, Curtis Morrison, what do you think about that? I always tell them that he'd like that have solution for everybody, but he doesn't think that is coming for his own reasons, that for his background and
okay, so
everything.
I have the answer. I'm going to say it, and then you're going to translate it, and we'll go to the next question. Okay. I know more than anyone that Congress is not going to solve this problem. Thanks to the people from Project Voyager, we spent $100,000 lobbying Congress to solve this problem, and we come to the conclusion that it's not feasible, it's not viable, it's not going to happen. So I no longer think about it. I don't focus on it. It's not going to happen. So I don't even want to talk about it.
جميل. المحامي كيرتس موريسون بيتكلم وسألته عن رأيه في موضوع الكونغرس. نحن نعلم أنه يود أن يكون الحل الجميع، رأيك إيه؟ فقال أنا أعلم أكثر من أي أحد آخر أن من خلال مشروع البروجكت فويجر تم صرف $100,000 فيه لمحاولة لوبينج لمجلس النواب، وخرج بنتيجة بالغة ونتيجة محددة وواضحة له تماما أن لا فائدة في الكونغرس الأمريكي. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So if we...
Yeah.
هذا الجماعة إدارة السفارة الجزائر خلال المحكمة الخاصة. Are you going to talk about Algiers in the lawsuit in front of the judge?
No.
الإجابة واضحة لا. وقد we talked about this a little bit ago.
Yeah, but let me explain.
هذا الموضوع لذلك
I just said one word no, and you're saying a whole bunch of words.
No, I told him we talked about this already.
Okay, but let me tell you, you want us to make arguments that get you what you want. You don't want us to make arguments that give you the words you want to hear. We need to say the words the judge wants to hear.
نحن نتكلم فقط في ما يريد القاضي أن يسمعه، فأما الكلمة اللي القاضي هيرفضها فما بنقولهاش أصلا. لما يكون عندنا علم بأن كلمة القاضي سيرفضها من العبث أن نقولها. So here is a question. بيسأل براين كم visa issued. Are you talking in general or in a lawsuit?
Asking my crystal ball.
استنى هو هيعرف الطالع وهيقول لحضرتك.
I don't know, Brian. Say that in Arabic.
I did.
Okay.
ما توقعاتك What do you expect about the 16th of September? Are you optimistic about it?
Looking at a calendar.
16th.
Oh no, you're talking about the appeal.
Good
Yes.
luck in the appeal.
Very optimistic, but I'm anxious to find out who our 3 judges are.
هو متفائل جدا يا ولد الشعب من موروكو. متفائل جدا، ولكنه هو متشوق أن يعرف من هم القضاء الثلاثة. أحمد سالم إن شاء الله في القضية. Do you think if we win in the appeal, do you think we're going to have the visa issued at the beginning of 2023 or later?
I've always said early 2023. And what I mean by that is not the middle. I mean like January through May. Early.
لما بنقول بداية 2023 فإحنا بنقول من شهر 1 لحد نهاية شهر 4 الربع الأول، نقول الربع الأول أو الثلث الأول من السنة.
That is only my guess.
وهذا تخمين أو محاولة ل يعني التفكير. So stay possible. What is it?
Ask that in Arabic so I can answer it.
Okay.
Is it still possible is what he meant to say.
Is it still possible for 2021 winners to who did lawsuit be interviewed? هنا بيسأل هل لسه في احتمال ل 2021 انهم يقابلوا المدعين؟ Yes sir.
Yes, but we have to beat the appeal.
هو بيقول لازم اولا نكسب الطعن. Here وما توقعنا مكسب القضية القاضي سيسعى لأن الحكومة على حساب المدعين. أحمد سالم, you have to tell us first, you're talking about 2021 or 2022. بالنسبة للترتيب في قائمة الانتظار جدول المواعيد, هل كان المواعيد ترتيبهم بعيد ولا يسمح بأخذ موعد قبل نهاية السنة؟ هل يمكن استصدار قرار من القاضي بإرسال مواعيدهم؟ Can the judge specify the plaintiffs to send their numbers to the embassies or something like that? He think there is plaintiffs who got very high case numbers. So is it possible that the judge specified them and send them interviews?
No.
لا.
The State Department decides who's interviewed.
الخارجية الأمريكية هي التي تقرر من ترسل له المواعيد. You are asking here. Hello, Mr. Morrison. We love you. Don't fear, please. What is your?
I don't have expectations about September 2 and else. I think that there are two people that are decision makers that what they do will influence what happens. Those two people are Secretary Blinken, State Department, and our judge in UAO, Judge Chang. But there's three other judges because there's a lawsuit, Judge Mehta in DC. There's a lawsuit.
I think he's talking about 2022.
I'm talking about 2022. There's 5 group lawsuits for 2022. Everybody knows that, right?
Yeah.
Like we have 2 of them, Tessa Faye and UAO, but there's also Hasu Preston in Kentucky, and there's Bo Jabar in DC. And so the effect of that is 4 separate judges can issue orders to influence what happens in September. 4 different judges over group lawsuits can influence what happens in September.
يسأل الأخ أمين، يسأل المحامي ماذا تظن عن إرسال مواعيد في شهر سبتمبر، فقال هناك طرفين، الطرف الآخر هو الأول هو الخارجية الأمريكية وبلينكن، والطرف الآخر هم القضاة في القضايا المتنوعة التي عندنا، قضية ويلسون وباقي القضايا وقضية UAO Yes, sir.
It would be foolish for me or anyone to have expectations about what's going to happen without knowing what these judges and the State Department is going to do.
تعتبر من الحماقة مننا أو من أي حد أن يتوقع ما سيقوله أو سيفعله القاضي. Next.
Uncertainty is uncomfortable, but it is reality here. Okay, we do
عدم
not know.
التأكد أو إن إحنا مش متأكدين من الإجابة الصحيحة حول هذا الموضوع شيء غير مريح، ولكن هو الواقع، فلا نستطيع أن نكذب على حضراتكم. Danielle, hello, I'm transferred to interview in the embassy of Tunisia or...
Okay, I'll just make this short. You can translate what I'm about to say. It is unlikely that any DV 2022 selectee can reassign their interview location now unless they are Afghan or Iraqi.
الأخ دانيال أليسون وهو من المدعين بالفعل يسأل عن إمكانية تحويل مقابلته إلى تونس. فالمحامي كيرتس موريسون بيقول لنكن واضحين صعب بمكان أن تنقل سفارتك حاليا إلا إذا كنت عراقي أو أفغاني. Yes, sir.
That is because KCC has a policy that they will not reassign your interview if they have already processed your DS-260.
لأن KCC اتخذت هذا العام سياسة لا تعيد برمجة موعدك ولا مكانه طالما أصبحت ready. So
and I have not seen any any DVs who KCC has said, "Oh, your DS-260 is not processed." I haven't seen that in a long time, and it could be because all of our plaintiffs, their DS-260s are processed.
هو لم يرى حدوث هذا من مدة طويلة، ويمكن ذلك لأن كل مدعين DS-260 بتاعهم تم دراسته بالفعل. Next.
Yep.
He's talking about the May thing, about they only send emails to those who finished their submitted DS-260 in May. بالنسبة للذين أرسلوا DS-260 in May وأعادوا فتحه، لماذا يتم احتساب الرسالة الثانية؟ For those who sent their DS-260 in May already, but they reopened it, why do they count them like the last submit, not the first submit? I think it's a question to KCC.
Well, here's what I want to say, though. I have no interest in debating the order in which KCC sets interviews. My goal is to get interviews for all my plaintiffs, and my second goal is to get the State Department to issue $55,000 a year. I don't want to get involved in the order that they do it, because the law gives the State Department discretion over the order that they do it. So you can't sue them over that.
القانون يعطي الحق لكي سي سي discretion ازاي يديروا مواضيعهم الداخليه، وللمحامي اهتمامات خاصه قويه وهي تهمه اكثر، وهي الضغط للحصول على اكبر تاشيرات ممكنه، ثم الضغط للحصول على 55,000 تاشيره بالكامل لحضراتكم، فلن يتطرق الى مواضيع كهذه امام القاضي. That somebody's answering somebody.
Yeah.
Hussein is answering somebody. Good luck. We talked about good luck already. Somebody's answering here. Somebody's answering here. Rauf Dris. I don't understand that, but it's okay. What would happen if they issued 55,000 visas before the end of the lawsuit?
The lawsuit would be moot, and we would not win. We would not win. If there's not any, if all the visas are used, all the visas are used. A judge cannot create visas out of thin air.
إذا تم الحصول على كل ال 55,000 تأشيرة بالكامل، إذا تم إصدار 55,000 تأشيرة فأصبح الوضع اسمه موت وتتوقف القضية عند ذلك. لكن I think the other part will, do you think they will issue 55,000 visa this year?
I don't.
No.
I don't know.
فهو لا يعرف إذا كانوا سيتمكنوا من قضاء 55,000 تأشيرة أم لا. Yes.
If I was the State Department, I would issue visas to all my plaintiffs.
إذا هو مكان الخارجية الأمريكية كان زمانه أصدر لكل المدعين تأشيرات. This one's talking about Gomez. We talked about exactly that before. What about 2020?
We talked about that before.
Yeah. Is it normal that Asia schedule more than?
Okay, what he's talking about is the regional quotas. And
Yeah.
I'm just going to defer to Britt Simon about that because he's very knowledgeable in the regional quotas and he thinks that they are more significant than I do.
هنا بيسألوا عن حصيلة آسيا والكوتا بتاعت آسيا، فبيقول له يمكنك تسأل بريت سايمون في هذا الموضوع وهو يعرف أكتر منا. Will the cases 2022 take as long as case? Who knows? You got that crystal again?
Well, I would say it's doubtful. It's very doubtful. Here's why. Here, go on.
الأخ هنا بيسأله هل كاتب اسمه بالأمازيغي، بيقول هل تتصور أن 2022 ستأخذ نفس الفترة الطويلة زي 2020 و2021؟ Yes.
What is causing over 1 year of the delay is there were issues of law in dispute.
وما أخذ وقت طويل في 2020 و2021 هو وجود ثغرات في القانون طويلة هي التي مدت في أجل الدعوة.
If in September the Circuit Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia says, guess what, government? Guess what, State Department? Judges can reserve visas past the fiscal year, and you cannot pretend like the DV program doesn't exist, and the Judge Mehta and Judge Shutkin's orders are upheld. On what grounds would they be able to appeal the DV 2022 decisions?
إذا حدث شهر سبتمبر في يوم 16 سبتمبر وخرجت محكمة الأبيل محكمة الطعون وقالت يا وزير الخارجية يا خارجية أمريكية، مين اللي قال كده؟ القاضي من حقه إنه يحكم وإنتوا مش من حقكم اعتبار كلمة الهجرة العشوائية غير موجودة وبتشتغلوا من دماغكم. على أي أساس سيقاوموا قرار 22؟ إذا لو كسبنا 20 الأبيل في شهر سبتمبر لن يكون لهم حجة في 2022 للمقاومة. Yes, sir.
It gives me a chance to say something exciting and then we can wrap up. These cases build upon each other. In 2017, there was a case filed by it's PK versus Tillerson, but then PK was issued a visa and they added Abercrombie. Abercrombie is still waiting for his visa, but guess what? That 27 case, Abercrombie went to the appeals court and then went back to the district court. And then the government delayed all the way to 2020. And now that case is still delayed and it's stayed until there's an outcome of the good luck appeal. But the funny thing is the law that we won on Gomez and the law good luck won was based on Gomez was based on Abercrombie. So these cases work together, okay? That's sometimes DVs say, oh, no, I'm 2020. Oh, no, I'm 2021. But guess what? You're all on the same team when it comes to proving to the State Department that they have to implement this program.
يقول المحامي كيرتس مورسون: كل القضايا طالما خارج السنة المالية فكلها معتمدة على بعضها، فقضية 2020 معتمدة على 2021، بل إن هناك قضية في 2017 اسمها المكرمي طعنت فيها الحكومة وقوى موقف المكرمي 2020، وقضية جوميز قوت موقف المكرمي. فكل قضاياكم تقوي بعضها بعضا وتساعد بعضها بعضا. لو كسبنا الأبيل في سبتمبر 16 هيبقى أكبر دعم لقضية 2022. Let's wrap this up. Let's call it a night.
Yep.
Anything you want to tell the people before we go?
It's a lot of work is going on behind the scenes. Okay. Sometimes people just think that the hearing and the videos is all that matters. The briefing on these cases is very intense. It's a lot of writing. Our team is very busy with that. Okay. So sometimes like people, I just want you to appreciate we are working hard for you.
المحامي يريد أن ينبه على حضراتكم لتعلموا أن هناك الكثير من الجهد يبذل خلف الشاشة، ليس فقط ايميل بيتبعت لحضرتك ولا لايف ولا فيديو بنطلع نتكلم فيه ولا شرح. هناك شغل كثير في الارجيومنتس واعداد الارجيومنتس واعداد الادله وتقديم المذكرات وعماله كثيره تعمل في ذلك المجال. Yes, sir. That's it. So thank you very much, and let's everybody drink water.
Everybody drink water and
breathe air.
Yeah, cold air, hopefully.
Cool air. Thank you very much. Thank you. سادتي آنساتي، شكرا لحضراتكم، ونلتقي في مناسبات أخرى. أسعد إن شاء الله. أخوكم ساهر عطية من موريسون ويورينا المكتب القانوني، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.